Hey Parkway, welcome back to another month's edition of the Parkway Pulse, where each month we take time to look back and celebrate what God has done, but then also look forward at what we're hoping and praying for in the upcoming month. And as we kicked off 2026, January was an awesome month where we, for the very first time, were able to launch our Parkway Home Resources, which is an incredible guide for families to be disciple makers in their own home. If you haven't had a chance to check it out yet, I'd encourage you to go to our website, go to Parkway Home, and see all the wonderful ways you can continue to make disciples intentionally in your home. Also in the month of January, we saw over 300 people from Parkway, Hutto Bible Church, and Wells Branch come together for a student winter retreat on January 9th through 11th, where we saw Jesus praised, disciples of Jesus multiplied, seeing students go deeper in their faith with Jesus, and to see them come home with that incredible excitement. I am so excited about this next generation and seeing them raised up as leaders in the kingdom, and this winter retreat was no exception for that. Last but not least, we started off our life groups again in the month of January, where our people, you Parkway, you're coming together to connect relationally, grow spiritually, and live missionally, and you are doing that together. It's so exciting to see what God's doing through our life groups. And then as we tried to do in the month of January, which actually happened now in February because of the ice apocalypse of 2026, we have Multiply, which is a night of looking back and celebrating what God has done to make and multiply disciples here at Parkway, but also a time for us to gather as the church to pray and to fast over what God's going to do over this upcoming year as we share the gospel, make disciples, launch missional life groups, and by God's grace, launch a brand new church. And so when we think back to what took place in the month of January, we can only give God all the glory and praise for what He's doing. Now, as we move into the month of February, I'm reminded of our value that says, launch joyfully, because joining God's mission is our privilege, and we really believe that. In fact, as we think about the big vision that God's given us, not just to reach people here in Greater Austin, but and beyond, meaning to the nations, I'm so excited for us to be able to have our Go Beyond week, which comprises of 2 different Sundays, as well as events that will happen during the week for life groups or for you to attend individually, for us to be equipped and mobilized as a church to have a biblical worldview, to see God's heart for the nations, but not just to see it, but also to understand how we can be involved in being contributors to the mission that Jesus has for the world, for the nations. This is a major emphasis for us this month. And so, church, let's continue to pray that we would be a church that is faithful to the Great Commission, not just here locally, but globally, not just here in our nation, but among the nations, not just across the street, but around the world, that we would be a people that are praying and passionate about every tongue, tribe, and nation coming to know and believe in Jesus. And when I think about the month of February, I'm excited to see what God is going to do in our hearts and through us as the people of Parkway. And thanks again for tuning in to another month's edition of the Parkway Pulse. And as always, Parkway, thank you for your continued sacrificial giving to the mission of what Jesus wants to do in and through us as a church. I can't wait to see what's going to happen as we move into February.